Good afternoon, everyone. This is Faith Howard Mooney from the Mortgage Collaborative. Super lucky today. I have crazy fun people from within our network with me that both work on the IMB side of our business. I did find out before we started recording that they do know each other and have met before and enjoy each other's company. So this should be a lot of fun. We're going to talk today about IMBs within the TMC family and the benefits that they derive from the different things that we provide to them. So with me today, I do have Erin D., who is the Chief Operating Officer of Loan People. Thanks for doing this, Erin.
My pleasure.
And also Femi Ayi, who is the EVP of Operations for Revolution Mortgage, which he shared with me before we hopped on this call that means that he takes responsibility for everything that happens. So
no, just everything that goes wrong. Everything that goes right is always somebody else's thing. When it goes wrong, that's when, I mean, what'd you do? Exactly. That's the way it works.
I was being nice and saying everything that happens versus everything that goes wrong, because I'm sure you don't have a lot of that going on. So let's get started and let's talk. We were all just in San Diego for one of our two conferences that we have throughout the year. We also do have a virtual conference called 12 Days of TMC. So let's talk about conferences a little bit, since it should be fresh in your minds. As far as, Erin, you want to start us off and just talk about, what you see as the benefits of our conferences?
Yeah, I think the conferences really are probably one of my absolute most favorite parts about being part of the network. When we're there, it's not just you're sitting on stage, hearing a bunch of people talk at you. They're all meetings for the most part where you're just sitting there with people that are in similar types of business, similar positions, going through similar things. And you're just talking through what is getting you by. We all obviously compete in certain markets, in certain areas, but a lot of the things that we discuss are things that are the same problems that we're all experiencing, the same situations, the same questions. And so to be able to sit in a room with my peers to just talk through the things that we're seeing, the issues that we're encountering is extremely valuable. And it's not just the sessions, it's the in-between talks, it's the meetings with vendors as well that are really great, because they're super tied into what we're doing, and they're really there helping us with our business. Definitely some of my favorite vendor partners have come from the network as well. And, obviously all the social things, I'll talk about all those as much as you want as well. But for me, it's really being able to be face to face and having real conversations with people instead of just being talked at. It's so valuable. It's my favorite, definitely one of my favorites.
You, Femi, what's your favorite part of our conference? Or what
Other than the bar? What? No, seriously, having fun. The favorite part is what you don't realize is going on. I've been to every mortgage conference that you can go to, from the wire ones to the more, all of them. We've been to all of them. And when you come to the TMC one, there's a lot more sharing involved. There's a lot more lift up the hood and let's actually see what's going on. One of the things that I actually like about this one is the vendors aren't just vendors. You guys have them as preferred partners, and there's a big difference in that. There's nobody in the room that I can't come around and say, oh, you're from XYZ company. I can turn around and ask three other IMBs or three other credit unions, hey, are you guys using these? Tell me what your experience is. It's not like going to the other shows where it's real superficial. You can actually get in under the hood and see what's going on down there. That's a tremendous thing. When I'm at the conferences, they're always a whirlwind. It starts early in the morning, you just keep going, and you go through the different lightning sessions, you go through the showcases, you go through some of the breakout sessions, you go through some of the larger speakers. There's lots of fun, there's lots of everything that's happening, and you just end up with notes. I was on the plane on the way home, and we found something that's going to save us $200,000 a year in my notes in the plane on the ride home. I didn't even get what I was looking at while I was at the conference because it was so much. I'm going through, I'm like, I saw this in a lightning showcase. This allows us to do X. We're currently doing Y. This makes a difference here. We're spending. And then it's like, oh my God, hey, what did I do? I just paid for 2 new underwriters so we can increase our turn times or we decrease our turn times, increase our output. It literally just by saying, hey, we went to this conference, and that had nothing to do with what I wanted to get out of it. And so it's really difficult to say, what's my favorite part of it? My favorite part about it is everything you don't pay attention to. It's what you get in notes later. It's what you connect and you say, hey, we really want to do this buy down program, but nobody in my company has experience in this within this particular software. Is anybody else using this software? And you talk to somebody else who's another member, like, yeah, you do this, you set up a plan code, you do this, and then institute these 2 rules. Can you email me that rule? Yeah, great. I've never been at another conference where you can actually share back and forth like that. So it's just amazing.
Huge time savings for you. And you both mentioned something that we were going to talk about a little bit later, but we're just going to talk about it now, is our fabulous preferred partner network. And they are partners of ours. We have 71 preferred partners within the TMC family. You both kind of referenced them. Femi, talk a little bit about how you interact with our preferred partners and maybe a little bit more about the lightning showcases at our conference.
All right. So how I interact with the preferred partners is delicate. All right. Everybody wants to get at you, especially when it's a difficult time right now. We happen to be a growing mortgage company, which is a little bit like a unicorn. So I get to feel like the pretty girl at the dance where everybody wants to talk to me. It's really fun. So, I mean, it's a new experience for me in my life. What I get to do is get to say, hey, this is what's going on. What do you guys offer? Is that something that we're really interested in? If it is something that it's really interested in, you can sign up for one of the lightning showcases and just see an 8-minute presentation. Cut to the nuts and bolts. I don't want a 5-hour sales pitch. I don't want to feel like I'm in a timeshare room. I just want to know what it does. I want to know what it does. I want to make some notes, and I want your contact so I can come back and get you later. And you're not being hounded by salespeople. You're not getting 75 million emails where you're just hitting the unsubscribe button all day long throughout your email going, I don't want to see one more of these. You're not getting a scheduled demo from people that you have no idea even if their product is valid. Knowing that they're a preferred partner, they've gone through Tom, they've gone through a vetting process, and there's no way that you guys have a preferred partner that your members aren't using. So just like I said before, I can turn around and say, hey, Ira, who are you guys using for this? What's going on here? And turn around and Allison, what are you guys doing here? This is what's going on. And you get to talk to people about great product and get down to that vetted referral literally over a drink in 10 minutes. So you're not dancing with somebody for 3 months before you figure out that their product's not actually viable or that they've been around for 6 months. And you're like, why did I waste my time in this? So that's tremendous. The lightning showcase is probably one of my favorite parts. You guys do, I don't know, 10, 15 different vendors. They get 8 minutes a piece, and then it's down and dirty. This is our product. This is what we do. This is our use case. This is what we have in the demo. And there's a room. You can ask questions if you want. You can set up the preferred partner meetings after. I'd probably get in trouble for this, but walking into every one of these conferences, I don't schedule my meetings beforehand. I schedule my meetings based on what I see that I like with my initial notes. I know going into it, hey, I want to speak to this person and this person. But other than those two, I want to see what's going on. What wasn't I prepared for? What I found on the plane ride home, it just wasn't on my radar. And those lightning showcases let you see everything you could possibly want in every aspect of the business. And it's super cool because it's not what you're looking for. It's what's really available, and it's vetted. The partners are great. They have the ability to deliver. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Erin, anything you want to add to that? You mentioned partners when you were talking too.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think it goes back to what you guys always say is the power of the network, right? So another great thing about having these partners is that, when we're all sitting in a room and us as lenders, we're like, we would love it if our vendor could do X, right? Then we can go to that partner where multiple people in that room are using them and say, well, this would work, right? So you have a group of people that are using a vendor that has a good relationship, that has an open relationship. Then you can get together as a group, as a network, and kind of drive your feedback to them in terms of, hey, this would be great, this would be great, this would be great, right? So I think that's another thing over and above. I mean, Femi's hit it out of the park like he always does with his comments. And but to me, that's also part of it, is being able to get together with people that are using the same vendors to allow you to help drive their future innovations in their roadmap.
That's great feedback to hear. Our preferred partners are awesome. They are very relationship driven people. They don't consider themselves as much salespeople, I think, as others in the industry. So fantastic feedback to have. Let's talk a little bit about collab labs and what you gain. So collaboration labs within TMC are like companies, anywhere from 6 to 15 companies getting together and, as Femi said before, kind of lifting up the hood of their business and talking everything that's going on within their company for a day. We do them virtually. We do them also usually the Saturday before our conference starts. So Erin, you want to start out and talk a little bit about what you've gained from our collab labs?
Absolutely. The collab labs are amazing. You know, when in the first question you asked me, I talked about why I like the conferences, and it's because it's, you know, lenders getting together in a room and talking about things. The collab labs are far more, I don't want to say condensed, but you know, you've got a smaller group. You're in, you know, for us, particularly speaking of my experience, we're a smaller IMB, you know, more regional. So we have the opportunity to sit in a room with the owners and operators of other IMBs very similar to us that are also, you know, you would call more regional, but of same origination size. And we put everything on the table. You sign an NDA, we look at metrics, KPIs, we look at everything. We talk about, hey, what are the struggles you're having in recruiting? What are the struggles you're having? What great investors are you using? Hey, do you have a new arm? And so for us, we can really just kind of put it all on the line in a safe, secure environment where we know that it's not going to be used against us, and truly openly talk about the challenges that we're seeing. What wins are we having, and how can we maybe help the others out? You know, for example, you know, within my collab lab, I've helped a few of the other lenders in there with doing their branch P&Ls and getting them done in a timely manner, because that's something we've really focused on doing from the beginning here at Loan People. So we're pretty good and dialed in on it. And then there's other areas where we've reached out to them and said, hey, can you help us with this? You guys do this really well. And so it kind of just takes, it's like the relationship and the networking on steroids. And it just really allows you to take your underwear off, for lack of a better, you know, where you normally would not do it in that type of environment. And the collab labs, I think, are my absolute favorite of being part, you know. So it'd be collab labs, and then it would be the conferences, I would have to say.
How about you, Femi?
I'm going to echo Erin in saying that the collab labs are absolutely the best, and I'm going to give it as a different metaphor. You know, when you're sitting at work and the Tylenol is going off and the emails are keep flying, the team's messages keep going, and everything's on fire, and your response is, I need to clone myself. I need to clone myself so I can put me here and me here and me here. All of those people in the collab labs are the people that are saying, I need to clone myself. You're getting in a room and you're sitting in a work group that is a COO level and above, and because you have your NDA, you're going in there saying, I have this problem. How can I solve it? And you're not looking on the Apollo 13 saying, what is on my desk that I have to solve this? You're getting feedback from people who have been doing this for 18 years, people who have been doing this for 3 years, somebody who's got a background with a credit union, somebody who's got a background in business management, somebody that was previously an entrepreneur. You're getting those people in the room, and then you're able to say, hey, I had this issue. What did you guys do about it? I mean, I don't know what I would pay on a consulting basis or what I would charge on a consulting basis to walk into one of those things, but there's an opportunity there. There's no way there isn't a consultant that's walking around doing the exact same thing that the collab lab is, just billing $20,000 for it. It's a business. We can do that later, Aaron. We can turn this around. So, I mean, the best spot is to be able to say, hey, I'm in a room. This is what we care about. And then being able to talk to people in that kind of breakout session that are C-suite and above, that have answers, that can say, oh, we did this and we used this for motivation, or we did this and it had a negative impact, or we did this and this is what come up. And you can really just say, oh, I've got experience. Whatever the experience is, it's not that I'm ever lacking in experience or I'm lacking in a comment. It's not that Aaron's ever lacking in something. It's that we're both different. And then when you put all of our experiences together and you get us in that room together, it just makes a stronger person. Like it makes me a stronger person. I'm never missing another collab lab again, period.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I agree. And to add to one more thing is that I feel like I almost have weekly mini collab labs, right? So the guys that are in our group, we email each other almost weekly with some sort of question, topic, issue, right? So it's not just twice a year at the conferences, it's weekly.
yeah, it's like, it's definitely what we always say is you're stronger together. Big focus for TMC is that everybody working together ends up in a stronger position and comes out of it on the side of anything better. But we do have a number of groups, like Aaron said, that it's like they're texting, they're emailing. We're included on a lot of those chains every once in a while. It's kind of like you've built your own mini network that you're able to resource if something comes up, on Tuesday at 9 o'clock. And, hopefully your first process is, I'm going to go to those individuals that I trust the most, that I've worked with before, even from a different company, they can help me find a solution for whatever it is that you're dealing with. So that makes my heart really happy to hear that those things do continue to happen. Let's talk a little bit about the working groups that we provide. So TMC has 12 working groups. Collab Lab, but instead of being companies that are like each other, they're roles of people that are like each other. So I would love it if you guys would share kind of like, I know you both have been involved in numerous working groups, kind of like what your favorite one is and what you gain from that.
Yeah. Do you want me to take that one first?
Sure.
All right, why not? I'm always happy to hear myself talk. So, yeah, so in my role within my organization, I wear a lot of different hats. So, I've had the opportunity to sit in on many of the different networking group calls, and I think they're all really fantastic because, you even have things like an HR networking group, which I feel that in mortgage, HR is often left out of things, and specifically in conferences. And I know TMC has like specific tracks and opportunities for HR professionals to come to the conferences even. And I think my HR team has found it so valuable to be able to have a group of other HR professionals because they're so often left out of things. But you have operations, you have secondary, you have CFO. And so at any given time or day of the month, you can log in and get on these calls. And, I'm not on every single one every single time, but I hop in when I need to bounce something off people. And there's always a good wealth of resources. And so it's also really good for those of you who have people, maybe you're not sending a ton of people to the conferences, and you're definitely not sending a lot of people to the collab labs. So this is an opportunity on the operations side and secondary, again, in all areas of the organization. It's an opportunity for them to also build their network. So it's really, you're just layering the way your organization can communicate and network with other lenders as well.
Yep.
Without major costs. No, none of that travel cost, none of that, oh, hey, we're down X this quarter. Unnecessary travel is off, everything else is off. The Zoom meeting is the Zoom meeting. You're on, you go.
Yeah.
My favorite's the operational excellence call by far. The specific user groups ones, the technology groups. I had our director of engineering attend the technology group for the first time, just in what was going on. And he said he's like, it was great. Like, we were talking about this and this and this and this, and he got in all this stuff. He's like, then they gave me the floor on what we did with how we built these bots that do this and this and this and this. And he gets into all this stuff. And he's going, he's like, it was like a lecture section. It was like the best part of this previous conference, but it was like a Wednesday at 2 p.m. And you're just like, I'm here, I'm working, I'm doing everything. I need a break. What are other smart people doing? Who's got an idea on what's coming up? What's coming up now? The LLPAs are coming out. I really wish our company could make a decision. Hey, hold on, let me jump on this call. What are the other 34 of you guys doing? Can you let me know? And then you get an answer and you can have a dialogue, and they're open sessions. We don't show up with an agenda that goes. So if you have an item that's pressing, you just said, I wish I had somebody I could talk to this about. Well, now you have a room full of really great people that are part of the network to talk to about. And we can follow back up on those, and you can go back to items over and over, and they're recorded, and you can go back and check them out later on and say, oh, this is what we were doing. And 3 months later, hey, who was it that was talking about this? We finally connected with that vendor. Let's go back and figure out who it was. They're fun. And you can do them while you're wearing flip-flops.
You can. Definitely listen to them. We have as many people listen to them in a podcast mode as do, if they don't have time in their schedule to hop on the call. And Aaron, we've heard that the HR working group is the only mortgage HR group in the entire United States, which I find really hard to believe. I didn't realize that HR people were left out of a lot of things, but we hear that one kind of over and over again.
Yeah, and in so many ways, just like every other way, mortgage is its own special animal, and on the HR side as well.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Let's talk a little bit about TMC Benchmark, which I know, Aaron, you guys have worked in TMC Benchmark for ever since I think you came on board with us. So can you share? TMC Benchmark is a tool that we use. It's a monthly tool available to our lender members for free, not an extra charge other than it's included in your membership fee, to compare about 70 different KPIs against other people within the network. So Aaron, you want to share your experience in working with TMC Benchmark?
Absolutely. And yeah, so we've been doing benchmarks since we started with loan people, and actually with the prior employer, we also use benchmark. So, really what you're doing is you're uploading certain data points every single month, and it's everything from your turn times to your number of closers, underwriters, to what you're paying them, to what your gain on sale is, to what your warehouse costs are. So, there's not a dollar cost, there's a little bit of a time cost, but what you get out of it, it's far more than what you put into it, which is awesome. So specific examples, when I'm renegotiating with my warehouse banks, I make sure, hey, is the fees and the rate, things like that, is this going to be in line with what other lenders are seeing? And the cool thing about the benchmark is you can see what the entire collaborative is doing, or you can narrow it down to smaller sizes. So I'm a smaller IMB, so what I see, large retail banks and even larger IMBs see, it's going to be far different than what I see. So I can narrow down that number and say, okay, this is typical warehouse rate, this is typical turn times, here's my top line gain on sale, here's what we're paying closers and underwriters. And now that we're getting busy again and we're looking to say, okay, well, we need to start hiring in these positions, great. So where are people paying them now? Because it's a lot different now than it was trying to hire in 2020, 2021, right? And so, and finding, because as an industry, especially right now, we're not hiring a lot. It's hard to find that market data in terms of like, what's a good salary to bring somebody in. It's real hard to do that. So having research with companies you trust are good quality people, and kind of getting that aggregated data, it's all anonymized, so you don't know who's paying what specifically, but okay, good. I know this blank is a good range. And I know that, hey, I can even compare number of files per month. So how come my underwriters are averaging X files, but all of the other guys are averaging 4 files more a month? What is that? So that kind of specific data is super, super helpful to me when making decisions, when, saying, hey, how are we doing compared to our peers? And I really love using it.
Yeah, it's and it's monthly. If I didn't mention that before, it's monthly. So the data is fresh. It's not stale data from a quarter ago. So when you're doing those ups and downs, as our industry does sometimes, it's fresh data that's not something that's dated. So I think that that's really important too. TMCU is something that neither of your organizations, I want to just mention a few words about it here, have utilized. But TMCU is our most recent initiative that we've rolled out within the Mortgage Collaborative, and it is a learning and development platform. So as Aaron's hiring and Femi's hiring those new individuals that maybe don't have any experience in the mortgage industry, we have classes that are available right now at a discounted cost to our membership base. That the data in our classes is formulated by an advisory panel of lender members within TMC. So it's all things that our lender members have stated they want their employees to learn or be engaged with. It is not standard training that you click through the slide presentation, answer 10 questions, take a guess. Don't even click through the presentation, try to answer the 10 questions. I can see Femi smiling over there that he's done that before. It's not that type of a training. It's much more highly engaged training where they have assignments and engage with somebody from our learning and development team on what they're doing. And so for anyone interested in TMCU, we would love it to talk with you further related to that initiative. Last but not least, our TMC Connect sessions, different from the working groups in that they highlight specific topics in the industry. They've become so common within the industry. It's like, do either of you remember, can you give me one that was really, really helpful for you that we did a TMC Connect session on? Probably not, because so common to our other conversations. But what they are is they are typically things that our lender members are talking about. So the one that I think of all the time was back when new condo rules rolled out. And we had people like Aaron and Femi and others saying, what are people doing with these? We don't. So we developed a session related to the new condo rules and how people were dealing with them. And like so many other things that we do, many of them are information presented at you from somebody, but many of them are also hop on a call to talk about this very specific topic, as Femi had mentioned. It's in, everybody kind of come to some census of what their best practice is and share it with everyone else. And out of that nice blend of I'm doing this, we oftentimes see something that is better than those two things that are done individually. The idea at the end of that conversation sometimes is the better idea for everybody. So that is what TMC Connect is as well. Anything we're like right where we should be time-wise. How did that happen with the three of us? I'm not sure. But I would love.
This is water, not bourbon. That's why.
Still
Where's the 1942?
But share, I would love it if you guys would just, share any final thoughts that you would want someone either new in that we're just onboarding into our network now, or someone that's thinking about joining that you would just love to share with them that you think is really important that you've learned or gained from being part of TMC.
I'll go first on this one. I'll try and keep it as quickly as I can. There are some things that are just like shampoo to me. I just don't know anything about it. I just don't know. All right. And when I don't know anything about it, there is nothing better than saying, let me hop on this call and we can get through. Think of what you did when the ATRQM rules changed. How did you adapt within your LOS system? How did you get through that? I know two other members that they were struggling. We got on a phone call. We were done in 15 minutes. And they were like, I know what I'm supposed to be doing now. All right. I can think of other situations that I was in the same position. I was just like, I had no idea. And I sent an email out to 3 COOs and a president, and 2 people called me back inside of 5 minutes. Hey, this is what it is. The power of the network is for real. I mean, it's the power of the network is for real. Any situation that you need, there's an answer for it. If it's training, if it's a working group, if it's a collab, if it's a vendor, if there's a problem, there's an answer for it here somewhere.
Aaron?
Yeah, I absolutely what he said. And I think what else I would say is that, what TMC has built here is unlike anything else in the industry. Nothing like it exists like this. You will not regret it joining. There's a lot. There is absolutely a lot. The one thing I would say is just give everything a shot, right? Because there's so much you can do, and just open your mind and it may feel weird to share your data for a benchmark, or it may feel weird to sit in a room with the leaders of other organizations and bare yourself naked, but you know what, you'll absolutely just go with it. It will be worth it. You will get 1,000 times out of it what you put into it. And I'm super, super happy, and I can't imagine a life in the mortgage industry not being a part of TMC at this point.
Oh, that's so sweet of you to say that. I'm sure my team who is listening in on this is just excited that you said that. I always say that we're like, it's always all about the people. Always about the people that are involved in it. I think that we attract a very strong group of lender members who all not only care about their companies, but they care about our industry. And by doing things together, they're just making our industry a lot stronger and better. And I think that that is definitely a piece of our culture that we have. I want to thank you both.
Yes. And I would just like to say, I don't think I emphasized it enough. You and your team, the whole TMC team, you guys are amazing. You take such good care of us, and you always find solutions and answers. And I just want to thank you guys too, because everything y'all do for us is amazing.
Yeah, we have a really great team of people. We do. That is, again, it goes back to hiring the right people who have that mentality of all we want to do is help you. And it makes us really happy when we do. So that's what feeds us from our side as well. Femi, any last thoughts? You always have one.
I always got I got two that are on here. One for Tony, underwear. And the second one is anybody who didn't know what that joke is, I'll buy you a drink at the next conference. Just come up and ask about it. All right. So I'll see you there.
And that is Femi's way of like meeting a whole realm of new people. So appreciate you both so much. You both, the reason why you get so much out of membership is because you also contribute so much in the TMC family. So I really appreciate you both.
Yeah, thank you.